Okay, you guys, welcome to the Cynt Said It show, you guys. Before I get started, this site is for education and entertainment purposes. Therefore, everything that I say after this, you guys, is allegedly. So we're going to get right to it live in the courtroom right now in the Ahmaud Arbery trial on the jury selection day 2. We're on day 2, you guys, and we're going to do this live, okay? I'm going to share my screen. Yeah. Give me a second. And we're going to go absolutely in the courtroom today. Let's see.
Excellent. Please raise your hand if you agree with this statement. The old Georgia state flag, the one that was essentially in operation from 1956 to 2002, that flag is a racist symbol. 48, 50, 72. Thank you. Please raise your hand if you agree with this statement. Do you agree that people of color are not treated fairly in the criminal justice system? Raise your hand if you agree with that. There's a glare. I should have memorized your number by now. 44. Thank you. 50. 69. 72. 73. Meaning everybody else thinks that whites and blacks and people of color are treated equally in the system. Very good. Moving from criminal justice system, now let's talk about police. That police in this country, locally, in the state of Georgia or elsewhere, do not treat black and people of color and white people the same or equally. Now we're focused on the police, not the criminal justice system, but police. If you feel that that exists in this country, yes, if you feel that people of color, black folks and white folks are not treated equally by the police, you feel that there's an issue that exists in this state or this country, please raise your hand.
Is it only limited to black and white people?
People of color.
Okay.
We could add ethnicities. Okay. Number 50. 65, 69, 72, 73, 79. Very good. Thank you very much. The state asked about any of you having specialized skill in psychology or therapy or psychiatry. This question asks you to judge this statement. Do you think that a psychologist or a psychiatrist can find a mental illness in just about anybody? Sort of a comment about the psychological sciences, that there's just about anybody who can be diagnosed with a mental illness. They're too freely diagnosing people with mental illnesses these days. If you agree with that, please raise your hand. One moment. I deleted a question. All right. Does anyone have anything going on at work or at home that in some way would impair your ability to give us your full attention every day? It's kind of like a work day, maybe 9 to 5, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later, that is going to keep you from ensuring that you will be paying attention to the proceedings and what's happening in court. This is a great opportunity for us to follow up with you later to kind of get into those details. All right, if you would just keep your hands up again. 39, 50, 69, 89. Very good. also have back problems, or if you have a physical limitation, or if you have a medical issue that will cause you to have to take breaks more frequently, and that medical problem or that issue that you may have ongoing could interrupt the trial beyond the court giving us what would be probably reasonable regular breaks. If you have some kind of physical issue, visual issue, hearing issue, I think we've gotten a couple people that said hearing, that would affect your ability to sit for long periods of time and listen to the evidence, meaning we want to have your full attention at all times. Please let us know by raising your hand. 48, 65, 69, and is it 85? I want you to pin that thing up here higher on your collar so I can see it, but I have it now. Thank you. I've got it. Thank you so much. Okay. And lastly, if you have any other concern about serving on this jury, and I'm not going to specifically say or suggest what the concern will be, but if you're thinking as you sit here today, some of you have said, I don't want to be here. None of you have said, I do want to be here. And the judge recognizes that. But you feel like your service and your ability to make a decision in this case, whatever that decision is after you hear all the evidence in the case throughout the course of the trial, that this thing that exists in your world is going to prevent you from making that decision because of what you think might happen after this trial. You're worried and concerned that whatever you decide might impact you after the trial is over.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I see you hand clearly. 41, 50, 69, 79. These are all difficult questions. We really appreciate your time. So thank you very much for your honesty. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you, Sheffield. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and I understand that those are all the questions from the defense desk.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, so here's what we're going to do in the jury selection process at this point. We're going to go ahead and take a short recess. During that recess, I'm going to ask that you go ahead and take a step outside of this jury assembly room, and then we're going to bring you back in effectively to wait for a little while because we're going to be calling individuals into the courtroom to follow up on some of these questions, and that happens individually. So we're going to ask you to step out and then come back in and just be patient. And I do appreciate your patience during this process. Now, during this period of time, and actually until I instruct you otherwise, I'm going to give you some instructions. These are important instructions, and I do ask that you comply with them. Do not discuss this case amongst yourselves or with anybody else. Don't go looking for any information about this case. There's a great deal of information out there. Don't go getting on your phones and looking up information. Don't call your spouse, significant others, friends, and tell them you're here today and start talking about the process. Don't do any of that. There was a reference to some information that may be online. I think one of you may have looked online, and that's okay. But I do ask you now not to go looking for any information. If anybody approaches you about the case or is discussing this case in your presence of hearing, please notify the court so that we can go ahead and get that addressed. This doesn't affect you during the recess, but after this process today and until you are otherwise instructed. Don't go to any scenes that have been discussed, any of the neighborhoods. Basically, don't go looking for any information. Don't seek information, and make sure you don't hear anything beyond whatever you had when you walked in today. Does everybody understand those instructions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. All right, we're going to take a short recess. I want to thank you again. I'm not sure I'm going to be talking to you as a group again. I might be talking to some of you individually, but I again want to thank you for your service. It is, again, a critical service. It's an important service, and it's a service to this community. So again, thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and have you step out, and we'll see some of y'all in a minute.
Okay, so what's going on? All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing, and we are going to stop there for now and see what is. Let's find out what's going on. Hold on, you guys. Okay, so apparently they're not live. Something's going on. So in that case, I'm gonna end this live for now, you guys, and then we are going to come back when they get back. Okay, so in a minute, you guys.